Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again with Hipther Talks, and we are sticking to the blockchain subject. And I have Jason Melo, CTO and co-founder of TouchBrick's. Jason, I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
You absolutely did. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we have this tradition here on Hipther Talks that we like to give the opportunity for our guest to say his experience and his career in his own words. So, Jason, take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much, and it's great to meet you. It's great to be on the podcast. So, as I said, my name is Jason Melo, co-founder and CTO of TouchBrick. I've really been a CTO throughout my entire career. I started in the startup space. Have kind of remained in startups for the most part, although I did dip into large scale enterprise and cut my teeth on both the technology and the politics inherent in that. So after my first startup, which we were focused on e-commerce and digital assets through e-commerce platforms. So how do you buy things like MP3s or in-game assets and all the different kinds of electronic software distribution aspects, moved into financial services. And that's where I first discovered blockchain and Bitcoin at the time. And so I created the first ever regulated crypto exchange in the world called Itbit. We then turned that business, and Itbit still exists today, but really what was born out of that was Paxos. So I was a co-founder of Paxos, where we really kind of helped pioneer the stablecoin revolution across the world. So from blockchain, moved into enterprise, as I was mentioning. So worked for a while at ADP, where I did a lot of kind of foundational work in data and machine learning, spent a lot of time on graph databases and all the kind of work across that. And then decided that, full on AI was the way that I wanted to go. So ended up co-founding what became the largest enterprise tax platform. So very sexy tax software for large scale enterprises. But really it was a big data problem. And we applied a lot of machine learning platforms and tactics to that. So that was a wonderful journey. Created a kind of a unicorn company out of that, and decided that Web3 and blockchain was where I wanted to kind of dip back into. And so kind of taking all of that experience from the past, enterprise data, machine learning, cloud security, all of those aspects, that's really what helped us ideate on what became TouchBrick and what we're doing today with TouchBrick and the technology and platform there.
All right. So since you have been involved in many things, let's talk about data privacy and AI, and because they are often seen as being at odds given the circumstances. So how does TouchBrick address this challenge and empower enterprises to safely innovate and while also protecting sensitive data?
Yeah. Well, I think you've actually hit on the exact, problem space and opportunity for TouchBrick. Really, it's that intersection of data privacy and AI. I mean, we work across any regulated industry. AI just happens to be one of the areas that we focus on. We are an AI company and we work with AI companies, but that's really the challenge that you're hitting on, is how do we continue to train models at scale? How do we, models just consume data, right? That's their lifeblood. It's the lifeblood of many systems, but especially AI. Not only to train the models, but also all of the prompts that we're putting in and all the context that we're giving these models. It's full of our information, whether that's personal information or things about payments or transactions, all of these different aspects of it. And that's really what TouchBrick is set out to solve, is how do we create a technology so that we can still continue to run as fast as we are and continue that acceleration into the AI space while ensuring that our data stays private and that we don't have to actually compromise all of our personal data, private data, sensitive data to continue the AI revolution.
All right. So TouchBrick's AI Sentinels are basically the central part of your platform. And can you explain how they work and the unique advantages they offer for their users?
Yeah, absolutely. So our Sentinels, TouchBrick Sentinel, are our machines essentially, right? It's really an agentic platform, right? So agent-based runtime, so that we can bring the agent model into enterprises, into companies. So the Sentinel, it's deployed as effectively a Docker container, right? So it can run in any cloud, any data center, any environment, and the Sentinel is really the core machine around how we identify all different categories of data, right? We work with mostly regulated frameworks. So think about things like GDPR, PII, PCI, HIPAA here in the United States. And our Sentinel is trained to identify that information across structured, unstructured data, known and even unknown locations, right? And then within the Sentinel, it is able to process that data, identify what type of categorization that data is, and essentially label it. And through that labeling, we're then able to secure it. And the way that we secure it is we leverage private data vault technology. And instead of taking tactics like masking data or encrypting that data within the database that it's in, we essentially tokenize that data through digital twins. And those digital twins are synthetic, identical equivalents of the data that we're protecting. The real kind of unlock with that is that it allows systems to still, and databases to still function optimally. We can still train language models with that data. We can still leverage that data within any type of system without actually having to compromise or expose the underlying private information that was originally created.
All right. So TouchBrick has partnered with industry giants like AWS, NVIDIA. How do these partnerships enhance your offerings? And I'm also interested about what role do they play in driving your vision forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our vision is really about how do we stretch across not only every single environment, but how do we also make this a technology that is very turnkey for organizations to adopt, right? We've already made it very simple for companies to categorize their information. Now we want to make it very simple for them to implement it. So those partnerships like AWS, for example, it allows us to really not only understand kind of customer environments being deployed on AWS, but give them options like a one-click installer through the AWS marketplace. Allows us to co-sell and co-brand with AWS into their existing customers and help really with education on how to secure their cloud systems, how to secure their data centers, and that's really what partnerships like that bring to us. From something like maybe NVIDIA's perspective or other AI chip companies that we're starting to work with, our Sentinel, our machine runtime is based on GPU compute, right? So we want to make sure that we are optimizing our runtime for the different GPUs that are available. We want to make sure that we're efficient all the way down to the lowest level of commodity GPUs, so you don't have to run massive, chips like H100s and things like that. So they're really kind of technology partnerships that we focus on. Commercially, we partner with some of the largest MSPs in the world. These are managed service providers, the companies that are bringing kind of cybersecurity and technology solutions into organizations and working with them. So they're really a fantastic partner for us to really get our technology, our solutions out into the market.
All right. So among these partnerships, we noticed the partnership about your recent integration with Peak. That's how we reached out to you guys. So what does this partnership mean for your project?
Yeah, Peak has been a fantastic partner across multiple fronts. They have been phenomenal for helping us to kind of identify different customer opportunities that are within their ecosystem. Other companies that are building in the Peak ecosystem, the Peakosystem as they like to call it,
Yeah.
and how TouchBrick can kind of be fully integrated across that entire map. But our vision for what we're building and where Peak really comes in as a critical piece of that is that we really feel that the network effect is will be the strength behind how we can actually manage, categorize, and ultimately secure data globally. So the fact that one machine is identifying a certain situation, categorizing data in certain ways, that takes a lot of compute, takes a lot of context to make those determinations. We feel that all of the other participants on the network should benefit from that discovery, from that training, essentially, on that data, as well as any compute cycles that we can help kind of contribute into the overall processing. Now, we never put private data or sensitive data across the network. We leverage things like data context and model training updates and updates like that. So the Peak network is phenomenal to help us do that, both for things like decentralized identity, messaging and network protocols and interactions across the machines on the Peak ecosystem, and the fact that they are within also the larger kind of Polkadot world, it makes it very turnkey for us from a development perspective to integrate their stack and integrate their technologies.
All right. So we also read about TouchBrick recently graduating from the Outliner Ventures Deepin Basecamp program. So what insights and learnings did you gain from that experience, and how has it influenced the TouchBrick's development?
Yeah, Outlier was a great experience for us. Outlier, they're the largest and most progressive Web3 investor, Web3 accelerator in the world. So just getting access to their mentorship, the leadership within Outlier, the portfolio companies that are resident there. That was really great for myself, my co-founder, our entire team to really be exposed to that. And they continue to help us. We have meetings with them weekly, and it's really, not just about, hey, you've graduated and now you're off on your own. It's a continual support to really kind of invest in our success over time. They worked with us across a number of different facets. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've founded, multiple different companies. My co-founder has not. For her, it's one of her first companies that she's founded. So just to be kind of part of that cohort, that group, the networking, and all the kind of founder mentorship that was available there has been a great experience. The other large aspect of it is that, just helping us really kind of understand the tokenomics, around our DPIN model and what we're doing in the space, and really having a lot of other experts who have seen many other models, come to fruition and how that applies to us. We're in a particular kind of, challenging area, I think, when it comes to DPIN and our token and tokenomics, because we're a pure B2B company, right? Most of the projects in the space are B2C or B2I, but not so much from a B2B perspective. So I think we challenged them and they challenged us in terms of ideating on what that could be. And, in the future, when we do launch a token to really help fuel our DPIN network, we feel that the work that we did with Outlier is going to be invaluable there. I've done token launches before with companies, but it was always where we had an existing community, an existing kind of, usership, but getting a token kind of off the ground from scratch was a different experience. So they were really instrumental in that.
All right. So with AI evolving so rapidly, where do you see TouchBrick's role in the industry over the next 5 years? I guess this could be a question to all the companies that have been launched in the past
Sure.
2 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of what we were touching on before, right? That real unlock of ethical and private AI, right? AI has such potential to have a positive impact on society, on our work, on all different facets of life, really. But that won't happen if we continue to train models the way that we're doing, if we continue to have to compromise our own personal information to make that happen. All that it's going to become is something that is really distrusted by individuals, by organizations, by all of that. So we really feel that TouchBrick is the critical technology to really enable AI to continue to grow and continue to run at the rate it is, while having society at large feel really comfortable with how that's evolving and what's happening in that space.
Yeah, you knocked it out of the ballpark here because, ever since November 2022, was it? Since when they launched ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there has been at least hundreds, if not million, companies launching in AI. Most of them only just to gather data, private data, like you said, personal data, and use it for something else. It's crazy to see this. Because there's so many nonsense companies that have just like powered by AI, using AI. And yeah, I really like projects like yours that have a sense and then the meaning. So, from your perspective, what are some of the biggest challenges and opportunities currently that are faced within the AI industry?
Yeah, I mean, beyond what we're talking about here in terms of the data problem and data privacy problem, I think energy and compute and what we're consuming with that, we really won't be able to sustain the growth of AI on current energy grids and networks and all of that. So do we go more solar? Do we go nuclear? Do we go kind of other paths with that? I think that's the next biggest area outside of data to really understand and solve essentially for AI. Going on beyond that, I think we still, a lot of people talk about how AI is replacing jobs and replacing developers and all of that. I don't think that that's true or the case or will be. In fact, if anything, it's creating more of a need for more developers, more people who can actually embrace these tools as part of their workflow, and how we can all, 10x ourselves and beyond. So we are lacking skill sets in this area. We're lacking a lot of talent and people that are AI natives, right? We've in the past have gone through different kind of shifts in technology. And, as a worker, you had to be technology native, you had to be, software native, mobile native, all these different things. We now all need to really be AI native, because if you're not, you're miles behind where other people are able to be in their careers and their work.
Yeah, back in the days when you needed to install Windows. So we're an expert on
Yeah.
software installing, when you had that the CD to install it and nobody else had it around you. So you were the expert. Like, now we need people to really understand the technology. So
right now, wrap your head around these agentic platforms, right? Agent-based work. How do you understand that? How do you know that, okay, what can I deploy and this will go out and do work on my behalf and, come back and give me results, whether those are insights or actual actions that I'm allowing it to take. It's a whole shift. And then if you look at the development space, and as an engineer myself, it is very foreign to develop in the AI world versus, deterministic, algorithmic based programming. And you really have to grok that and wrap your head around it and move forward.
Oh, it's a different world now. So, are there any projects or initiatives in this area that inspire you?
Yeah, absolutely. If we look at kind of pure, data and agent-based space, there's a company called Mechanical Orchid that's led by Rob Mee. He's the former founder of Pivotal Labs. But it's such a cool project where basically what they're trying to tackle is all of these legacy systems that are out there, right? Systems that were built, 20, 30, even sometimes 40 years ago in these large organizations. How do you refactor that? How do you modernize those platforms? Well, they actually deploy agents into these environments that can start to understand all of the data flows and all of the interactions of these systems and actually refactor and create modern systems based on that and based on the needs of the business. So it allows businesses to, evolve themselves through AI. So that's a phenomenal project, and close with those guys. Platforms like Render, which is in the DeepIn space, and Render is in kind of AI DeepIn space. We, talk about the creator economy and how we're going to be, creating all this massive content, movies and music and all these things, movies and television shows with AI. Well, how do we actually achieve, Hollywood grade production quality of that? And how do I, as an individual creator, maybe even get access to being able to render these systems? Well, Render is doing a decentralized platform that, allows those individuals to tap into that power and that scale of actually rendering to produce content that, mirrors the best that we see coming out of Hollywood and Pixar and all these other studios.
All right. Okay, so and what's next? My final question to you is, what's next for your company, for TouchBrick's?
Yeah. So beyond, the launch of our DeepIn network that's upcoming, and what we're going to be doing with that, and really kind of scaling that network effect, for us, and our vision has always been the real data opportunity is being able to understand and categorize data. Right. The categorization of data is probably one of the largest challenges that we have as data grows, as the exponential growth of data continues. We understand less and less about our data, and as a human, we cannot stay on top of that. So really what TouchBrick is about is that further categorization of all data. We've started in the sensitive data space, but that doesn't mean that we're not, even in talks with customers about things like intellectual property or strategic data. That's really important for an organization to understand and uncover those insights in real time for the company. So we will just continue to kind of go across the data categorization space and how we can provide technology and solutions for customers to and companies to really kind of leverage that in very effective ways for them.
All right. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best with the project. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for your time, because I know it's very valuable, and thank you for our audience for sticking around. If you have maybe some shout outs to give for your team, be my guest.
No, and thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on here. Thank you for having me and hosting me. This is a lot of fun. Yeah, for us, TouchBrick.com is a great way to get a sense of who we are, what we're doing. We have links to our socials on there. We're at TouchBrick across most social platforms. And I myself on Twitter at Jason Melo. And so, yeah, come check us out and come get involved, whether it's, getting involved in our developer community, getting involved with the company itself. We have our career postings and job postings on the site. We're always looking to expand and grow our company. So we would love to meet anyone that we can in the industry at large.
All right. So you guys heard it, right? Make sure to come back next week for more even crazier stuff that we talked here on Hipther Talks. Jason, thank you so much once again, and take good care, everyone.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.